Hello, friends. Welcome to Bold on my writing YouTube channel. You notice that the name on the title of this video is Pause, and I don't want you to pause right now unless you really need to. So you can click pause at any point during this video, but what I'm talking about and why I called it Pause is because a lot of times during my writing life and throughout my life, I've felt the need to just push pause, to take a second and take some time for myself. To really put everything on hold, to put the brakes on things and say, like, hey, let's dial it back. Let's find a better place, just like we just found a better place on that video screen. So my question for you today is, when do you need to pause and why do you need to pause? So when do you need to pause? Like basically in our ideal world, we would build a writing life where we didn't need to push pause, where like our life was fulfilling and eventful and flavorful and happy and exciting, but also made us feel content and didn't make us feel frenetic and overstimulated, right? But the reality is that it's really hard to achieve that writing life. It's really hard to achieve that life, that creative life, that life as a parent, that life as a person, that life as a human. So it's more important too to just remember like when you need to push pause, to stop and like examine and feel it out and see like, man, I'm super overwhelmed right now, or I can't really do all these things. And, just being able to recognize that is one of the most important steps that I've seen and the most important things that I've seen over the last few years for myself personally, right? Because a lot of my advice comes from myself and my own experiences and as I've worked with other writers. And we've seen the need to just be able to push pause and say, hey, wait a second, I need a break. Like, and so, the important parts about that are being able to recognize when you need to push pause, but also being able to tell other people that you need to push pause, right? So to have friends and to have colleagues and let's say support mechanisms that you can say, hey guys, can you help me out? I need to take a little step back, right? Um, and so that's that thing, like knowing when you need to push pause and knowing how to do it, right? So for the why of it, the main thing is so you don't get burned out. Because one of the things that happens for a lot of us is that we keep going and we go from task to task to task or thing to thing to thing, right? And you can do that now. Like now that we're in this like COVID-19 world, right? Like there's always something online and something you can do and some way that you could be working where for a lot of you who are working full time, like that there used to be better barriers, right? And those barriers don't exist anymore. Like you can answer an email at 4 in the morning, right? And some companies even expect you to be available all the time, right? And so being able to find a way that you can push pause and being able to like talk to your boss or talk to your husband or talk to like your kids, right? And say like, I need this for myself as a human, right? Because sometimes we get so caught up in asking people to do stuff for us, right? So you'll have people that ask you to do things and ask and ask and ask. And that's good, right? Like it's good to have those relationships where you feel like you can ask and interact, but at the same time you need to be able to say no and you need to be able to say like, hey, I need a break. And so the hardest part about that is being able to say that. To say, actually, I can't do that thing, or I'm not going to get to that till next week, or do you have somebody else who can do that, right? Um, or pausing and thinking, is that really something I need to do, right? Is that something that even needs to be done? So the pause button, like you see it on your computer right now, you'll see it on your phone. Just think about it in your life, right? When you start to feel that overwhelm creeping in, or you're starting to look around, or you're looking at your planner, or you're looking at all the things that you need to do, right? And you have no idea where to start, like giving yourself a second to pause and to recalibrate and maybe even to write down on a little note card or a sheet of paper, like, what do I really need to do next? What do I need to do, not just for the world and not just for my job and not just for my kids, but for myself? So next time you're getting overwhelmed, just take a second and think about that pause button and give yourself a chance to find your way back.